Hey folks, and welcome back to the Inside the Mix podcast. And in this episode, I am very excited to welcome our guest today, Russell Nash. He is a Synthwave, Retrowave artist hailing from the Highlands of Scotland. His style exudes 80s excess, bringing the sounds of yesteryear to contemporary audiences. And he is going to share with us his musical background, influences, thoughts on synth scene, and the creative process behind the album Do or Die. Hi Russell, thanks for joining me, and how are you?
Not bad, Mark. Yourself?
I'm good, thanks, mate. I'm good. I've gotten you on the podcast today from the Highlands of Scotland, so I thought I'd indulge in a whiskey whilst we're talking. And I can't actually remember what whiskey it is that I've got. That's really bad. I just went in the cupboard and picked one out. Yeah, big thanks for joining me today. So for the audience listening, I've been chatting to Russell for a while about music on and off. For the audience listening again, if you are well entrenched in the scene, you'll probably see Russell's name crop up a lot in Synthwave Surfers, a really, really good Facebook community group that I am an advocate of, and I think you should go and join because it's very supportive and a fantastic group, and we're going to chat about that in a bit.
Sure.
But what I'd like to sort of start off with, Russell, is just a bit about your musical background. So can you tell our audience a bit how it all started? What inspired you to start writing and creating music? When did it all begin?
I would say, well, there's probably two. There's two beginnings. It originally began when I was at school. I took up the violin when I was 7, but I was absolutely gash at it. I was woeful. I think my music teacher said that I was a walking disaster.
Inspirational.
Yeah. And he kind of more or less like kind of implied that I should just kind of give up on music. So I ended up I chucked the violin, and then I kind of ditched the whole music idea until I was I think about it was 13, coming up for 14. And then when I was at high school, there was this guy that kind of joined my year, and he played guitar, and me and him kind of got friendly, and he showed me a few chords, and it just kind of went from there. I guess like I had this mindset before that I don't know that there was that not everybody could do music, that you had to be Mozart.
Yeah.
You had to just, you know what I mean, just like sit down at a piano like for the first time and play a concerto or something. And I guess like meeting this guy was just like the first time that just an ordinary bloke was pretty good at music, and it kind of gave me a bit of encouragement to take up the guitar and kind of get into music, and it kind of showed me that like anyone can do it if you basically just put the work in. So like that was where I got started. And I mean I have to admit, like, part of the motivation as well was I was a horny teenager, and I wanted to score some chicks, so I think chicks love guitars.
Yeah. Didn't think about the bass then.
No,
not the bass. Not that I'm knocking bassists out there. They are very, very good and needed. No, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I had a similar experience when I was at school. Because I remember way back when, and I wanted to. They didn't actually let me play the instrument. I put myself forward, or rather, I sort of signed up, and I wanted to play the saxophone, and they just categorically like brick walled me and said no. So I didn't even get the chance, like you with the violin. So now I then picked up the guitar off the back of that, because I had a neighbour who played guitar, and I remember playing for about a year without a tune before I realised that you needed to tune it. Yeah, really, really bad. But it's good, isn't it, when you realise actually you don't need to be an expert to actually start writing and creating music, because I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone's particularly nailed it, and I don't think you ever do. I don't know what you think. I
mean, in my opinion, I think that certain people have more of a kind of innate kind of knack for it than others, but I would say that anybody can do it. I think there's just different ways to approach it. I mean, like I've got a cousin who's tone deaf, but he's the way his mind works is very kind of mathematical. So he's went away and he's went balls deep into all the theory, and I mean, he could probably tell you, off the top of his head how to create a diminished 7 add 9 plus 11 chord or some shite like that. Like, I just made that up. I don't even know if that's a real chord, but he's heavy into all that kind of stuff. And he's pretty competent musician. Whereas I guess I was more of a just kind of wing it kind of guy, and like just kind of suck it and see. Because like I didn't actually learn music theory until later on. I was 28 before I kind of get into the theory side of things. I mean, I knew a little bit, you know. I knew the very, very basics, but I didn't know. You know, when you say that somebody knows music theory, you know, like, I didn't know music theory. I'd always just kind of winged it, and just if it sounded good, it was good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, and it's kind of in a way, I think it also lends that sort of thought process lends itself quite well to like production and producing. Like I've said it to many people, sort of like if it sounds good, it is good. Like when it comes to production, because you can binge produce, you can binge edit, and then I think also I very much like yourself when it came to playing guitar. I didn't start learning theory well into probably my 6th or 7th year of playing guitar, and even then I probably don't use a great deal of it now. Maybe the odd sort of like circle of fifth I might dive into when I'm songwriting, but that's about as far as it goes, you know. But it's interesting you mentioned about, was it your cousin you say, and being able to structure all that. So he's probably one of those individuals that could, without actually listening, create a piece of music and it sound correct, theory-wise, without actually having listened to the music itself, which is an insane skill. One I'd love to have, but probably one I never will. I mean, like, I used to teach guitar a little bit. I don't really have time to do it anymore, but I had a few students, like, kind of going back quite a bit now. It was maybe like 8-10 years ago, and I mean, I don't know. I would always kind of say to them, because, like, you know, they would kind of come to me with the same kind of thoughts that I had when I was a lot younger, and I would always just kind of say to people that, you know, there's, what's it Steve Davis used to say, you know, there's more than one way to skin a snooker table. You know, there's different angles that you can come at it from. You know, if you don't have a particularly good ear for it, and, like, you know, because I mean, some people are, you know, exceptional at, you know, they can just pick out a melody, and then, you know, they can pick everything out by ear, and they're just very kind of tuned into it. And then there's other people that don't quite have that skill, that kind of innate skill, but it's something you can get better at. You know, I mean, you can train your ears, and, like, you can go down the learning the theory route. So, like, that was something I've kind of tried to kind of drill into anybody who's maybe a bit apprehensive, or, you know, kind of maybe a bit down in themselves, and going like, you know, like, I'm just not a musical person, I can't do it. I mean, I think just about anybody could do music if they really wanted to. I mean, there's just different routes, and some people might find it a little bit easier than others, but I think anyone can get there if they put the work in. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. And I'm probably one of those individuals who find it slightly more difficult than others. It was one of the things I really had to work at, and work hard at to succeed, specifically playing guitar, to the extent that I could be confident enough to perform live and actually record. And it was tricky. I had to put a lot of hours in. I probably should put more hours in still. But I totally agree. I think music is accessible to anyone. And I think with technology now as well, which we'll come on to a bit later with regards to your album as well, technology makes it even more accessible. The fact that you can have a whole studio setup, as a lot of the audience probably know, and already have a studio setup in a 13-inch sort of laptop, and produce some amazing music without actually touching any hardware, which is incredible. But there are pros and cons to that, and it's one of those, you can probably dedicate a whole podcast series to the digital versus analog comparison. But what I want to move on to next, Russell, is sort of like your musical influences. So you touched on there, you played a bit of violin, played some guitar. Your musical influences growing up, was there a song, artist, or album that had a really sort of poignant effect and inspired you to write music?
I mean, I think the first like kind of album that really resonated with me was it was a greatest hits cassette by Buddy Holly that I found in my mum's car. I had no idea what he looked like, you know, what era he was from. I just found the cassette and I just flung it on, and I loved it. And that was kind of, I'm trying to think. I think I was maybe about seven or something like that. You know, I mean, I'd listened to music before that, but obviously, but that was the first time I'd listened to something, and it just, you know, it really struck a chord with me. So like after that, like, you know, I'm not so sure if that inspired me, like, you know, got me really fired up to like start creating my own music at that point. But that was the kind of point where like I really took a big interest in music. That definitely, you know, kind of a lot more so than before that. Then I would have said that it was probably a little bit later when I got into my teens, my early teens. I started listening to a lot of like pop punk bands.
Oh yeah.
I think that was my kind of gateway into kind of rock music. Yeah, and like it was a PlayStation game. I don't know if you remember MTV Snowboarding.
Oh, did I play MTV Snowboarding? I played 1080 Snowboarding, but I don't think I played MTV.
It's basically just it was like Tony Hawk, but with snowboards, and the soundtrack was just like all artists from kind of MTV at the time, and there was like a bunch of stuff on there, like I think NoFX and Blink 182 and all that kind of stuff. And there was this one song by Blink 182 that was that Don't Leave Me by Blink 182. That's what it was. And I really loved that song, and like I said, I was kind of getting into playing a guitar at the time, and then that kind of encouraged me to kind of pick up and, you know, start kind of try to write my own stuff. And then I guess my tastes kind of evolved throughout my teens.
Yeah.
Like there was one period where I got like really into heavy metal. Mm-hmm. Like I was listening to like, you know, Megadeth and Metallica and Maiden and like all those kind of bands, and I became one of those elitist pricks. But you know, like if it wasn't heavy metal, then it was shit. Like
I've been there.
I didn't want to know.
Yeah.
But like I kind of grew out of it. And then it was maybe when I get into my kind of mid to late teens that I really started getting into like all the kind of classic hard rock stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and Alice Cooper and all that kind of stuff. And I would say that it was around that time that like my tastes kind of cemented a bit. Because like that's probably even now, I mean, that's probably still my favorite kind of music. That's my jam, like the kind of classic rock stuff and 80s kind of hard rock stuff. I think synthwave is probably the first genre that I've kind of come across in probably 20 years that's came close to, you know, knocking that off its perch.
Oh wow.
Like that. Those were all my kind of influences, like from kind of growing up and throughout my teens. And
yeah, it's interesting. Once again, it's a common theme, and I've seen it now mentioned a few times in Facebook groups. And so I think my experience was slightly around the other way, in that I had hard rock, and then I went to heavy metal, and then I'd probably come back to hard rock again. So all the bands you mentioned then, I'm well into, still listen to now. But then you transition, as it were, maybe not transition, but then you sort of move over or pivot into synthwave. And there's so many artists that go down that route, whether it's from hard rock, metal, or punk, or hardcore, some form of hardcore, something along those lines. Yeah. And then they find themselves in the synth scene, which is incredible. And I always ask the question to interviewees, is like why they think it is. And I don't know if there is a particular reason. There must be something musically that, I suppose you can get quite a heavy element, can't you, in synthwave, depending on your writing style.
Yeah.
Why do you think there is that nice sort of pivot from rock, metal to synth inspired music?
I'm not really sure, and I do agree that it seems to be a kind of phenomenon because I know a lot of people that have kind of made that same transition. I mean, like some of my friends in the community, Von Hans and Distant Reality, like these guys are like kind of big kind of hard rock, heavy metal kind of guys, and they've kind of made the transition over as well. I'm really not too sure. I mean, for me personally, I've always been a big 80s guy. Like, on top of all the kind of 80s hard rock stuff that I listen to, I've always just been a fan of the 80s in general. I loved like all the old action movies, and I love Harold Faltermeyer's music. I mean, like the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack. I mean, I just remember, like, see, you take away that soundtrack, that is just an average buddy cop film.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But with that soundtrack, it's just as fucking iconic. It's just it just lifts it like out of the kind of realms of mediocrity and into like stone cold classic kind of territory. So like I always loved that to begin with, and I suppose as well. I mean, I love bands like Van Halen and Europe, and I mean, like they used like Oberheims and Junos and things like that in their music. So I suppose it wasn't that big a jump for me. Like when I look at a lot of the stuff I listen to, even like some contemporary bands that are kind of emulating those 80s hard rock bands. Like I don't know if you've ever heard of Brother Fire Tribe.
No, I can't say I have.
Right, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and guess that you know the band Nightwish.
I do. Yep.
The guitar player from Nightwish, and I think it might be the drummer from Nightwish, they have a band that they do on the side.
Okay.
That is basically like a contemporary Europe / 1984 Van Halen kind of sound.
Oh wow, that sounds like something I need to find. I need to go and check out.
I'll send you some links.
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
But it's absolutely fantastic. But like again, like they're using like all these kind of retro synths and stuff like that in their music. So yeah, I suppose for me it wasn't that big a jump, and I suppose as well, I mean, music aside, I love the whole aesthetic of it. There was just something about the 80s that I don't know. It just seemed like a better time, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I know a lot of people look back with rose-tinted glasses, and we yearn for a bygone era that had fuck all to do with us. But
yeah, it's quite true, isn't it, when you put it that way? I was born in '86, so I had 4 years in the '80s, of which I can remember none of it. But yeah, I'd still say like it's an era that I would love to live in, and I think I pretty much echo what you said there. Now you mention it about bands using like synthesizers like Jump, Van Halen, when you got the synth element with Eddie Van Halen playing it in there, for example. And now you mention it, you can kind of see and hear how it's quite an easy transition to go between the two. And the aesthetics as well, obviously. I mean, there's something about the 80s aesthetics that I've always liked, and it's always allured me. And the movies as well, I always go back to. But if I ever need a film to watch, generally it ends up being something of that era.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. Do you know what I think it is? And I mean, this will sound like a really, really strange criticism to have of modern cinema, but it's too good. Like everything's so perfect, like but I don't know. I just think it lacks a bit of character. I mean, like the acting's amazing. Like they've all got these like amazing kind of orchestral kind of scores, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not good movies. I mean, I still think there's a lot of good movies coming out, but I don't know. Those older films, I think they had to really, because of the limitations with like the technology, like I think they had to kind of try harder to like be like a kind of presence on the screen, and I mean there was lots of folk back then that were just entertaining to watch. I mean they weren't particularly good actors. I mean I mean like Schwarzenegger. I mean every film was just
That's the very name. I mean, I'm a massive Arnie fan, and as soon as you mention that, there's the first name that springs to mind is Arnie, and like Dolph Lundgren as well, who not particularly the best actor.
No, they're fucking atrocious, but they were entertaining to watch, and like Sean Connery. I mean, he's a prime example. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, The Hunt for Red October. I mean, that was. Have you seen that film?
A very, very like is it a U-boat or is it a submarine?
Yeah, he was a Soviet submarine commander, but you know he just plays Sean Connery in it. He's like, yes, my name is Marcus Rabius.
Yeah, I'd love to hear Sean Connery do a Russian accent.
Well, he doesn't.
Oh, that'd be so good. I need to go back and watch that film now. It's been years since I've seen it. I'd love to hear that.
You should watch it. It's pretty fucking funny.
But it's interesting you mentioned that about the 80s films, because I know for a fact every time I watch like a remake, I watched the remake of The Thing. This was a few years back now, and I love the original. And what I love most about the original and other films like this are like the prosthetics and the animatronics that they use, whereas the new ones, like you mentioned then, they're almost like too polished in the way that they use technology to create all these special effects, and I'm just like, I'd rather it go back to the way, and people go back to using like the animatronics and the prosthetics that they used way back when. They might look a bit corny every now and again, but like you say there, I just think it's better. I just prefer it, and I think hopefully what goes around comes around, you know, and they start going down that route again. But I don't know. Who knows? I'm not in the film industry.
I guess you've got like characters like Dwayne Johnson and stuff like that are kind of been cropping up in the past kind of 10 years and kind of filling that void at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, The Rock's a shit actor, but I mean, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, and like I think that's what's missing from a lot of films as well. Like, I mean, a lot of the films in the 80s, they were just fun.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't take themselves too seriously. Whereas, like a lot of the movies that are coming out now, like you know, like The Departed and was it Inception?
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They have their place, and I mean, I really enjoyed that film. But I don't know. Sometimes you just want to like kick back and eat some pizza, and you know, just watch a film with absolutely no plot and you know a lot of murder and. Like,
yeah. Stick on. What was I thinking of then? Commando. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Stick
exactly.
on Commando. Or Time Cop with Van Damme. That's more 90s, but still, Time Cop is one film. I need to watch that again. I haven't watched that in years.
No, and you know, it's funny you should bring that up because I was actually pondering whether to watch that recently because I was kind of going through like my little list of kind of old school films that I've not watched for a while, and that was one of the ones I was thinking of watching. So like maybe I'll need to do that.
Yeah. Van Damme had sort of like a small, and there was Hard Target as well. Oh man, I love Hard Target. That's a great film. Once again, going in the 90s, but still another. Van Damme was another one of those films, like Bloodsport. The amount of times I've seen Bloodsport, I've lost count, and Kickboxer.
What was the one that he played his twin? Like so it was double Impact. Was that what it was?
Was that with Dennis Rodman?
No, there was. I always get these mixed up. I can't remember. I think there was one that was. I think it was Double Team, and then there was one that was Double Impact.
Yep.
One of them was with Dennis Rodman, and the other one was he played the role of himself and his twin. So like he.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that again. The idea of Van Damme acting to himself, and Demolition Man. Oh, was that Stallone? Yeah. No, it is Demolition Man. I'm thinking Universal Soldier. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier. Oh man. Oh, I'm totally digressing now. I do this. I can talk about those films for days. But what I want to do now, because I'm aware of time, I don't want to keep you too long, is move on to like your sort of music now.
Sure.
So you're releasing Synthwave, synth-inspired music.
Yeah.
So we've gone down the journey of rock, metal, punk. And we've sort of spoken about the 80s influence. But was there like a pivotal moment when you thought, you know what, I'm going to give this synth music a try now? What sort of tipped you over the edge to move into that era? Well, not era, genre rather.
It's probably like a kind of two-tiered answer. I was in a band about maybe about 8 years ago now. Like it was a little while ago, 7 or 8 years ago. And the bass player, like in the band, was like a kind of fellow, kind of 80s kind of aficionado. And after that band split up, he went on and he started a little kind of synthwave project. It's called Cage, Cage with a K. You should check his stuff out. It's pretty good.
I'll make a note.
But yeah, anyway, like I remember him sending me his album, and I thought, this is kind of cool. Like I think before that point, it hadn't even occurred to me that I could make music that sounded like old 80s films on my laptop. Like the thought hadn't. I guess it just never crossed my mind. So that like that was, I think, what kind of got like the cogs turning. And then I would say maybe about a year after that, I had a little bash at an 80s track. It's still online actually. It's like under my real name, and Andy McTaggart. It's still I think it's still on. Should still be on SoundCloud. But yeah, so like I kind of threw together a track. It's awful. Well, the mix is terrible. Like, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about production when I made that. I just kind of threw it all together, and I think the only thing I knew was what a high pass filter was, and
yeah,
that's basically all the mixing that's on it. a few balance levels and a few high pass filters, and that's it. Yeah, I made that track, and then I just kind of, that was it. I didn't really give it much thought again for like another year or two. And it wasn't until I was over at my brother's one night, and my brother has a channel on YouTube. It's called Neon Ether, and it's a synthwave YouTube channel. And I was over at his one night, and we were just kind of having a couple of beers, and we would usually put some music on, and he just fired on like a couple of tunes, and then I was just like, what the fuck is this? This is like the best shit I've heard in years. And it was, I'm trying to think, I think it was Meteor's Parallel Lives, that's it, Meteor, Parallel Lives album, and Paladin Matter. And I absolutely fucking loved it. And then I'm trying to think, yeah, Robert Parker, Michael Weber. Mm-hmm. We ended up like going through like all these albums, and I just absolutely loved it. Like I don't think I'd ever been like captivated like that, like since like the first time I heard Appetite for Destruction or something like that.
Yeah.
I've heard some albums over the years that I thought, this is a pretty cool album, and I'll check that out. But like, I think this was the first time in a long time that I kind of got that feeling like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but when I was in my teens, like every new album I heard was just like the best shit I ever heard. Mm-hmm. And then you just kind of reach a point that you've heard it all, and
yep.
Someone will send you a new album, and you go like, yeah, that's it's good, but like I don't really give a shit. And like, you just kind of get to that point, and I think that was literally the first time in probably about 15 years that I'd heard something new that got me really, really kind of hyped up and excited. So I think that was the kind of point for me where I was just like, I want to give this a bash. Like I really want to give this a go, and like see if I can maybe put together like a few tunes like this. And I think it was about a month after that I wrote the first track for the album, which was Phoenix.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's I very much went through a similar thing, and I suppose a lot of artists do as well. Actually, thinking back to it now, whereby you're around your mates and they're playing a few beers. You might play beer pong. I do that every now and again. But you're playing some music, and then they play you something. And because I had that similar thing, a friend of mine, we were having some drinks and whatnot, and he's like, and he knew I was into. Obviously, he was a metalhead and whatnot, and he was an old bandmate, and he knew I was into sort of synthesizer stuff, but I hadn't really done anything with it. And then He played me a Gunship track, and then I think it was like Tech Noir or something like that. It sounds all quite cliched now when you mention Gunship. Gunship are amazing, and I remember listening to it, and I was thinking, actually, like you, I was like, I've got a laptop and I've got all this music is accessible to me. So why don't I just give it a go? And I think echoing what you said there about I was buying new albums, or probably at this point actually streaming new albums, and nothing was really. I was kind of listening to them, going, kind of like, that sort of it's good, it's great, and I love listening to it, but it's not breaking the mold. And then it's when I found that synth element, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to move into that. And I think it'd be interesting to know whether maybe I'll start a poll or something online and see how many people followed that similar suit, where they just got bored of what they were listening to, and then they just found, you know what, synthwave and synth music. I think this is a conversation I had a while back with Herman from the Future Kids, and he mentioned about it's like the trifecta where you got all these. You've got I can't remember what the third one is now. You've got the music, you've got the aesthetics, and there's one more, and I can't remember what he said it was, but it all comes together and it melds quite nicely, and it just attracts so many people in. And the community is amazing as well, which is sort of what I wanted to touch on next. So, like, for the audience listening, if you're, once again, going back to what I said at the beginning, if you're well entrenched in the synthwave community, you'll know Russell's name because it pops up a lot, and you're a strong supporter and advocate of the synthwave scene, which is amazing. You're ever present online, and it's incredible. And you've got this really great group, Synthwave Surfers, so I'm going to put a link to it in the podcast notes. So I strongly advise the audience listening to go and join that group, because there's some incredible musicians and artists in there. And join that group and check out the music. But what are your thoughts on the scene? What in comparison to the one that you were in previously? So you mentioned you were in a band. Are there sort of like parallels between the rock and metal scene and the synthwave scene, or what differences do you think there are?
I mean, one thing that I've personally found, and I don't know if it's something to do with like the different kind of demographics, because I know that obviously most of the people that are kind of like caught up in the synthwave scene are usually at least in their 30s, or maybe even a little bit older. Because I'm 35 myself. I'm getting on a bit.
Yeah, grey hair. Yeah. But
I don't know. For me, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like I had some great times, like gigging and being a part of like the kind of rock and metal community, and I made some great friends, and I connected with a lot of really, really great people. But I don't know. For me, I found the synthwave communities more. What's the right word for it? It's more.
I think it's more welcoming, just to jump in.
Yeah.
One thing I would say is, having come from a live scene, live music, is I know what it's like when you're gigging. And
I think the rock and metal scene, I think, is more tribal.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think welcoming probably is a pretty good word for it. Because I immediately kind of found that when I joined this, you remember obviously when I'm trying to think, it was maybe about 8-9 months ago that I started talking to you, and
about that pre-Christmas, wasn't it?
I think it was something like that. And I knew fuck all back then, because for me, I've been a musician for a long time, and I've been a musician for 21 years. But I literally, as a producer, I started from scratch roughly about this time last year. Before I kind of started on this journey, like I said, I knew how to high pass, and I knew how to pan things and balance levels, and that was it. Like I didn't know anything else. Like, so I was kind of starting from like kind of ground zero. So there was a lot of folk like yourself, and just in groups and stuff like that, and I was that annoying guy asking all the all the questions that everybody's been asked like a million times, and everybody was really patient, and everybody was really supportive, and really kind of encouraging and stuff. So I mean, that was definitely kind of different. And I don't know, like I mean, obviously there is a little bit of kind of like toxicity, and there's a little bit of tribalism, but I think to a much lesser extent, because I mean, I used to be in a lot of like kind of hard rock and metal groups, but you know, I ended up leaving a lot of them because I just get so fucking fed up, because they would spend more time talking about
other bands,
why Justin Bieber was a prick, than actually just talking about the bands that they enjoyed. I mean, I remember being in this one group. I don't even remember what it was called, but I actually just made it my mission to just troll them. Every time they put up like a post about Justin Bieber, I would just imply that they must be fucking wet for him, because that's all they fucking talk about, and then they'd be really upset with me.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. It does make sense. Like if you talk about them that much, there must be some sort of like Freudian, something Freudian going on there, So yeah, like and there was very very much this kind of, I don't know, like Metallica's the best band of all time, and if you disagree, then fuck you. Like, Iron Maiden's the greatest band of all time, and if you disagree, then fuck you. Like I don't know. I just can't be bothered with that, and. There definitely seems to be less of that in the synth community. Like, people seem to be, I don't know, people seem to kind of like cheer you on more, and like people are able to kind of, for the most part, from what I've seen anyway, like they can post about their favorite bands without that same kind of tribalism. That's been my experience anyway. Yeah, I would agree. I think the support is amazing. Like yourself, like you said there, if you started like your production journey sort of 9 months ago, I think the support that you get from other artists is amazing. Like, and just bouncing ideas back and forth. I do it all the time. There's like a select few. There's someone new. I think every month I talk to, I end up bouncing a track to them and saying, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And it's amazing, and it helps you progress as an artist and as a creative. And I think particularly as well because you've got your big players in the synth scene, and everybody knows who the big players are and stuff. Yeah. And obviously, I think the bigger you are, the more, I don't know, maybe the more your work is analysed and criticised, for want of a better way of putting it, I guess. And you're there for people to write and talk about. But I think at the more independent level, the support is amazing. I've never known, because I was in a band for years, and I've never known a scene whereby I've got so many people sharing my music, and like vice versa as well. I've never known anything like it. Like, you put a song out and it's just shared by so many different people, and so many more people commenting on it, and I've never known anything like it. And it's amazing. It's testament to the artists and the support that you get. Incredible stuff, and thoroughly enjoyable as well. And I don't know about you, but I'm finding like new artists every week. Some new song or artist will pop up on a synth, on like a playlist on Spotify or just in a group, and I'm just like, where has this come from? This is insanely good. This is amazing, which is a great thing. Yeah, no,
I absolutely, man. I mean, like, I think I'm going to end up fucking bankrupted if I keep finding new artists on Bandcamp. I had to really restrain myself on Friday because I'm a broke ass bitch at the moment. But I tried to at least get a couple in.
Yeah, good old Bandcamp Fridays. They're brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Was that the last one? Like, I can't seem to get any kind of concrete kind of confirmation on that.
Really? I don't know. I hadn't heard it was going to be the last one. What, this year or?
I don't know, because on the Bandcamp blog post about it, like they said that they were doing it they were definitely doing it up till the 6th of May, but they never actually clarified whether.
Interesting.
They were going to do one in.
It was bought, wasn't it? Who bought Bandcamp?
It was Epic bought them. Epic Games.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not saying the two. There's a correlation between the two there, but interesting. No, I wasn't aware of that. That'd be a real shame if they got rid of that. Yeah, real shame.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, no, I definitely. I'm stumbling across new stuff all the time. SoundCloud, I find, is a really, really good place to find artists. I've found so many like really, really fantastic artists on SoundCloud.
Yeah, I don't give it. I need to give SoundCloud more time. I put demos up on there, but sorry, go on, mate.
I was just going to say, it's dreadful for making any money off of your stuff. I just get my first payout, $5. $5. I'm just gonna do my little fucking flex now.
Yeah.
$5 for 11,000 streams.
Oh, it's hideous, isn't it?
So yeah, I don't think I can recommend it as an artist for somewhere to kind of actually make any money off your music, but it's a good place to kind of put tracks up and just kind of I guess kind of get the word out, and for having a little browse and finding new artists to listen to, because usually what I'll do is if I find a new artist that I like on SoundCloud, I'll usually go and find their Bandcamp and add it to my wish list or whatever. So I guess I kind of use SoundCloud the same way that I use HMV. I go to HMV to find CDs that I want to buy online.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time I bought a CD. I bought a vinyl recently, but I cannot remember the last time I bought a CD. Man, must be years ago. Are you into cassettes? Do you buy cassettes?
No. I think I know that's blasphemous.
No, I haven't bought any either, so I'm the same.
No, it's I mean, don't get me wrong. It's kind of neat. Like I understand the appeal, but for me personally, nah, it's just not for me. I'm happy enough with my digital collection. Yeah.
I contemplated it. I've got a cassette DAC somewhere, and I need to fix it. But I contemplated it, and then I thought, actually, I mean, I know what I'll do. I'll buy loads, and then they'll just get put in a box and put in the attic. But more for everybody who buys them and who loves them, it's great. But I'm sort of with you on that one. So I'm well aware of time here. I'm digressing as usual. What I want to touch on now is your debut album.
Sure.
So Do or Die. Can you tell our audience a bit about the release itself? Thank you for the credit as well. So on Bandcamp, you gave me a shout out, which is most appreciated. Thanks, man.
No, I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, anyone that was patient enough to fucking put up with me asking a million questions. I thought it was only fair they get a shout out.
It's the only way to learn, though, isn't it? I mean, asking questions, and. It's the way forward. So what can our audience sort of expect from Do or Die? Give us a summary of the album itself. What can they expect?
I'm trying to remember. Someone else asked that a while ago, and I think let me try to remember what it was. I said I think it's like Harold Faltermeyer jamming with Europe in the 80s.
If that's not enough to draw you in, I suggest you go and listen at the end of this episode. Obviously, I'll put links to that to your Bandcamp and whatnot in the show notes. So do go and check it out, and then it'd be interesting. Comment somewhere, for Instagram, wherever it may be, and see if you agree with that description, or I'll come up with the description yourself as well. But yeah, carry on, man. I interrupted you there.
No, it's all right. Yeah, so I guess I tried to pull in a little bit of my kind of hard rock influences, and I think that's where my kind of drum sound comes from, because I mean I'll be perfectly honest with you, and hand on my heart, genuinely before I released any of my tracks, I thought my drums were pretty mediocre, just kind of par for the course. But I get questions about it all the time, but it's genuinely just. It's just kind of hard rock beats, but with hard rock beats and fills, but with retro drum machines. That's basically that's the big secret. It's that's all it is really. So I guess I've kind of incorporated a little bit of that into my sound. Obviously through a few guitars in there as well, and then I suppose I've kind of channeled my inner Faltermeyer over the top of that, and that's kind of, I think that's a reasonably good description of the kind of the sound that I've kind of put together.
That sounds really good, mate. I think your drums are banging on there as well. So drums, particularly, I had this conversation with Tim Aisle 9 a few weeks back, and it's the classic snare and toms that are the I have to go into like the minutest detail with those, and I just get hung up on them for ages. So anybody who nails the sound of drums, hats off to you, man, because it's something I sit there, and it's probably what holds my releases up the most. So it kind of leads on nicely to my next question, which is about your songwriting and like compositional process.
Sure.
When you're in the creative zone, how does that start? How do you start a track? I mean, is it the same every time, or does it like when inspiration strikes, you just go with whatever, you know?
Yeah, like, you know, it kind of varies. I'm having a bit of a drought at the moment. Like, I mean, I know I released a few tracks yesterday, but I had to really grind to get those done because I've just not been in that kind of headspace recently. But I mean, sometimes like inspiration will just strike. I mean, like my most popular track, Last Chance. I mean, I got the idea for that like when I was in the middle of a piss. Like not a word of a lie. Like, like you know, I just the idea of just like having this like driving bass line and like, yeah, you know, like kind of hard hitting drums like start the track, like just popped into my head, and I just, you know, just had to quickly kind of shake myself off and, you know, make a beeline for the PC to get the idea down before I forgot it. And so,
I was going to ask then, was it like, it's probably quite crude for the audience listening now. I thought it was like you're taking a piss and it was the sound of that was like influencing the bass line of it, like hitting the toilet, hitting the enamel of the toilet.
No. Like,
all right. That'd be creative, man. Sample that and then get it in as a bass line. That'd be insane.
No, just like ideas just pop into my head sometimes. And I guess some tracks just kind of write themselves, and then just like I said, other times I'll get like a drought, and I just won't be in that headspace, and like, you know, I'll have to really kind of grind it out. But no, it varies, man. I mean, like sometimes I'll start with a drum beat, sometimes it'll be a bass line, sometimes it'll be a chord progression, sometimes it'll be a melody. Like it genuinely does seem to kind of vary. I think recently I've noticed that, like, probably more so than the others. It, like, a lot of the time it seems to start with a bass line. Like I'll kind of come up with a funky little bass line, and then I'll kind of build the track around that.
It's interesting. When you say bass line, do you mean like a synth bass or an actual bass guitar? No, just it'll just pop into my head. Because like I don't know if I'm the only person, the crazy person that does this, but sometimes an idea will pop into my head, and I'll just like whip my phone out and I'll just like hum, like I'll just record and like hum like the melody or like the bass line or like the drum pattern like and into my phone, just so I don't forget it, and then I'll come back to it later. And then, like, I was going to say I do that. I've probably got a catalogue of random shit on my phone, which doesn't really off-key ramblings, but to me it makes sense somewhere, you know. Yeah, it's interesting, I think, when it comes to inspiration, because I'm very much the same. I go through peaks and troughs when it comes to writing, and I often find that to get inspiration, sometimes I have to. I don't know. Do you sample libraries at all in your stuff? You ever delve into that realm?
Some, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes I might listen. I use Splice if I ever go into there. I was digging around there the other day for some car sounds, and I noticed you released a track yesterday, didn't you, Speed Demon? And I heard some Ace track, by the way, and I heard some pretty cool sort of like diegetic sort of car sounds in there, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I get influenced just by I have to find like a loop or something, and then just doctor it slightly, and I go from there. But what I've noticed of late is as well in Synthwave Surface, you post a lot about plugins, and you're finding all these free plugins. Where do you find all these? I've got to ask: is that just you digging around the internet, or have you got another source?
I'm Scottish, so I mean, you know, we like a bargain. No, like when I started out, I didn't really have a lot of money to spend on plugins, like right back at the beginning, and plus, like, you know, I didn't really want to spend a fortune if I didn't really know if I was going to, you know, get balls deep into this.
Yeah.
So I think for a good like 2 months, like I think I scoured like every corner of the internet to find all the best kind of free plugins and all the best kind of plugin deal sites, and I signed up for like multiple newsletters from, you know, like, you know, like audio plugin deals and the plugin guy and, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So and I joined a few like bargain groups on Facebook as well. So yeah, like a lot of the time I'm just gonna get hit with like, you know, emails about like, you know, various deals or notifications or whatever. But yeah, and I mean sometimes, you know, I do regularly just like kind of, you know, make the rounds and like check back to a lot of these sites just to see if they've got anything good going on. And then, you know, if I see something that I think that, you know, other people might get some use out of, I usually just kind of slap it in the group. Because
but my question to you then would be, what is the like the best or the most used, maybe a better way of putting it, free plugin that you have in your arsenal?
Most used one? Fuck, that's a good question.
Yeah, sorry, I'll put you on the spot there a bit, mate. I should have warned you about that one.
I'm just trying to think. There's a Lin plugin that I use quite a lot. I think it's called the JM1.
The JM1. Right, I'm going to make a note of it.
I think it's called that. Like, it's quite an old plugin now, but it's got some really, really nice sounds in it. So like I use that for like all my cowbells and my claps and stuff like that. Like I've yet to find anything, you know, that sounds nice. In my opinion, that sounds nicer for that, like that old kind of like Faltermeyer kind of like 80s kind of sound. So that one gets a lot of use. Satala is another one that I use quite a lot. That's like a plugin where you can like load in your samples.
Okay, well, like a sample. Is it a sample editor then?
Yeah, you can edit it a little bit, but it's I'll use that for a lot of my drum sounds, like so that I can kind of put them all in one place.
Yeah.
And in terms of synths, probably I'm trying to think. The PG8X, I use that one a lot.
PG8X.
Yeah, that one's really nice. To be perfectly honest with you, like that one's probably as good as some you know plugins that I've, you know, paid a decent amount of money for. I think the guy who developed that's pretty generous, giving it away for nothing.
It's amazing, isn't it? Some of the freebies, the free software that's out there, what you can do with it, and stock plugins as well. I'm a big advocate of. I don't know what DAW you use, but I use Logic. I used to use Pro Tools, but when I moved away from the recording side of things, more into production, I moved into Logic. But even like Logic, some of the stock stuff, some of the stock plugins you get in Logic are amazing. And I know occasionally I'll come across someone who will turn their nose up a bit about using stock plugins, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it in the slightest, you know. I've had conversations with individuals who still produce, and actually there was one interview I did, I can't remember the producer, and he produces all his track using an iPad, and they sound amazing. And I think what's the classic analogy? It's a workman and tools, isn't it? It's how you use the tool rather than the tool itself. But some of the free stuff is amazing, and very much like yourself, I try and keep my costs down, but at the same time not to negate the quality. And I think there's so many good things out there. But my next question to you is going to be about sort of like your synth sound itself. So this is paid or free. What is your go-to sort of synthesizer, your go-to VST when it comes to your songwriting?
See, like after I decided that I was in this for the long haul, like I bought quite a lot of stuff over like a kind of 6-month period. So like my plugin folder's pretty bursting. But I think I've kind of like I've whittled it down to like a kind of core, like kind of 5 or 6 plugins that I use in most tracks, and then I've got like a bunch of other kind of like synths that I like to call like my spice rack.
That's a great way of putting it. I like that.
So yeah, like Saurus by Tone 2, like that's one that I use on almost every track, and that's like a really nice kind of, it's like a, I guess it's like a cost-effective alternative to Diva. It's like half the price, but it's really, really fucking good. Like, you know, the sound quality is probably just about on a par.
Yeah.
So I use that for like a lot of kind of like pad sounds and stuff, and like bell sounds. And I used it for like the lead synth on the title track "Do or Die." I used it on that. So I use that one a lot. I use Anna 2 a lot for bass sounds.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Anna 2. I use that a lot as well. I think
Anna 2 is. I mean, it's good for everything, but I think it's especially good for bass sounds. The DCO DCO 106 by Cherry Audio. I use that for quite a lot of stuff. I know that there's more accurate emulations out there, you know, for Junos, but I don't know. There's something about that one. I just find it really, really quick and easy to get a nice sound out of it and to just kind of to get going. Because I eventually picked up the Model 84 in a sale, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really nice plugin. The interface is beautiful, and I mean the sounds out of it are incredible, but I don't know. I find it less kind of user friendly, and for that reason, I find myself gravitating towards the Cherry Audio one more. Just because it is like so easy to get like a nice sound out of it like really quickly, and then that just kind of gets the ideas flowing. And I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people will probably vehemently disagree with me, but I think that once it's all like mixed and it's like sitting in the track, like it's quite difficult to tell the difference anyway. Like at the end of the day, I think you can get very similar results with just about any plugin if you mix it well.
Yeah, I would tend to agree on that. I think going back to what you said there about emulations, I think because you could have your classic synthesizers, and then you could have emulation after emulation after emulation of that synth, and I think there's an argument maybe to say that an emulation might not be entirely verbatim correct to what it's trying to emulate, but it might bring its own characteristics that actually, you know what, I quite like the fact that it's not quite right. Yeah. And it brings its own sonic palette to your mixing. Yeah. I think you're right there as well when you say about using different synthesizers, in that when it comes to actual mix down and everything's sort of when it comes out in the wash, because you can tweak and you can tweak these synth sounds and stuff in electronic music. And like you said there, I mean, I'm probably going to echo what you said there. I'll probably be corrected when I say this, but I mean, can you really tell what VST someone's used on a track? Someone's probably going to correct me now somewhere, but
I wouldn't have said so.
Nah.
I mean, I can't say I've ever listened to a track and immediately thought, right, that's that VST.
I know individuals who think they might. I say think might be the wrong word, but they can pick out which DAW someone's used. Like, I've had that conversation with. Yeah, I know. I've had that conversation before. They'll be listening to track. Oh, that was produced and mixed in Logic, or that's Pro Tools, or I don't know. That's Reaper. That's Ableton. I'm like, just enjoy it. Don't try and like pick apart like what DAW they've used. Just enjoy the track for what it is. But maybe that's why I'm different to others. Maybe. But Russell, I realise I've kept you on here for quite a while now. So what I want to move on to next is like just ask the questions like, what does the future hold for Russell Nash and your musical adventure?
I mean, I'm kind of wanting to go full steam ahead, because I mean, before coming into this, I'd actually stopped doing music for a long time. Like I'd actually stopped doing music for about 5 or 6 years. You know, I mean, I would pick my guitar up from time to time and have a little strum, but like, you know, you're talking about a handful of times a year. So I don't know. Like I guess I just kind of fell out of love with music for a while. There was just kind of a lot of other stuff going on in my life, and I just kind of drifted away from it. But coming back to this, it's just really reignited the you know, the passion for me. It's like it's kind of lit that fire under my ass again. And, yeah, like I'd really like to make something of it, because like I kind of feel like a lot of the projects I was involved with before always kind of they never reached their potential. Like because I was in like a glam punk band like a long time ago, and you know, we started doing all right. Like we were actually starting to get some pretty good gigs. I got to support like a few bands that, like, you know, that I enjoyed. Like I don't know, do you know the band Faster Pussycat?
Yes, yeah.
I got to support them, which for me was amazing, because like, I mean, I can remember being, you know, 17, 18, and like I used to like learn all their riffs, like just like playing along with the records and stuff like that, and like that was probably a big part of my guitar sound, because like, you know, a lot of the kind of riffs and stuff that I used to write for, like, you know, the hard rock bands that I was in were quite kind of bluesy, and a lot of that came from that influence. So for me, that was amazing, getting to support like a band like that. And I'm trying to think, Tough, I supported them as well, and Love Hate. And then I was supposed to support, supposed to be doing a gig with Gun, but unfortunately that one fell through. But I lost my train of thought now. I can't even remember where I was going with this.
I think you're talking about how musical products reaching their potential.
That was it. Yeah, that was it. So like a lot of these bands that, like, you know, that I used to play in, like, it always seemed to be when we were just starting to get somewhere that was when it fizzled out. Because it was actually when I played the gig with supporting Tough. We played support slots for Tough in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and the manager of the other support band is also the manager for, I think, Lordi in Hardcore Superstar. And he saw us, and like he really liked us, and so he gave us his card and asked us to send him a demo, and you know, that could have been a big break, and then like I think about 6 months later, like we'd recorded an EP and we were all set to, like, you know, to try and make something of that, and then our singer got jailed for fucking beating up his girlfriend, and the band split up.
Oh wow!
So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, I don't speak to him anymore. And yeah, like the same kind of thing happened with the band I was in after that. Like that kind of fizzled out when we were starting to get somewhere as well. So when I guess I really just wanted, for me, I really just want to kind of make something of this project. I'd really like to take this as far as it can go. I mean, I've got no delusions of grandeur. I mean, like, you know, we're a niche genre as it is. So I mean, like, even the superstars of our genre are still making chump change compared to, like, you know, the big hitters in the industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, it would. I definitely plan to just keep the releases coming, and just like see where it takes me. I'm no promises, but like I'm aiming to get a Russell Nash EP out by the end of the summer.
Oh wow, that'd be good.
So like definitely an EP this time, because like Do or Die started off as an EP, but I just kept on, you know, getting those moments of inspiration, and I would write a new track and I would go like, right, okay, I'll add this one, and then that's it, no more. And then I would write another one and go like, I kind of like that as well, so right, I'll add that one, then that's it, done. I'll just release it, and then I'll write another one, and I'll be like, right, okay.
Yeah.
And that's how it kind of ended up being an album in the end. But no, this one will definitely just be an EP because, getting those tracks over the line for the release just that fucking killed me.
I know. I share your sentiment on that. I struggle to get tracks over the line for an EP. To be honest, I write something and I'm like, it doesn't fit my EP idea, so I just release it as a single. And I keep releasing singles, thinking, right, I'll start the EP, and I just keep knocking out singles rather than an EP. And I really just need to like put myself away for like a month and just finish. Well, pretty much, finish. Yeah, finish would be the right word. Finish an EP. But no, that's exciting, mate, to get another EP out. That'd be good going. I mean, if you get another EP out before the summer, that's pretty good. The amount of music you've put out in the last sort of like 8 or 9 months, or as you mentioned.
I think it's the most prolific I've ever been.
It's impressive, man.
That's the plan anyway. It'll probably just be 3 or 4 tracks. Like, I don't think I can stomach another album yet. Like, maybe early next year I'll kind of go again. I'll maybe try to get another album out. But no, I'm really, really disorganized. I think on release day for the album, I think I rendered the final master at 11 p.m.
Oh, wow. It's good
like,
going.
It's like like one of those like Raiders of the Lost Ark films. You know, when Indy kind of rolls under like the cave door coming down.
Yeah,
just enough time to grab his hat. I think that was me, like just getting it out, like in the last like half an hour of the release window.
Wow, it's impressive though. So it's all in house then, mix and mastering.
Yeah.
Fair play, man. It's good. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? With technology, the accessibility of it, as I mentioned earlier, the fact you can do everything.
Yeah,
everything
I mean, but like I said though, I mean, like people like yourself and Tim, like. Derek from Midnight Fury, like, I mean, if you listen to like the mixes that I was doing before you guys gave me all those like tips and pointers, like I mean the difference is night and day. So like you guys were definitely a big part in me getting it over the line.
No, it's great to hear, man. It's my pleasure to help out, and it's cool to hear it because it's a quality release. It's really, really good stuff, man. And like the release power yesterday is really, really good, and I'm excited to hear what the EP sounds like.
I'm thinking this EP. I'm gonna go for more of a kind of funky sound.
Yes, that sounds good. I think it's always nice where you have like synth wave, and then you sort of like bring in you pivot slightly, and you bring in maybe a bit of funk, or maybe you go down this slightly darker route. You might bring in sort of like, I don't know, heavier guitars, or just something slightly a subtle difference. So now I look forward to hearing that. I'm well aware of the time now, mate, and I don't want to keep you for too much longer, but what I want to ask now is where can our audience find you online? Where are the best places to find you and your music?
Well, Bandcamp's probably the best place. All my stuff's on Bandcamp. I've got my stuff on SoundCloud as well. I've got my music video is on YouTube. And like I've been saying this for months, but I will do it. Like I don't know why I keep putting it off. I really should do it, but like I am planning to put the whole catalogue on Spotify as well. I should really get on that. So yeah, I'm on all of those platforms, and if you want to, if you want to follow me on Twitter for some, inane banter, then.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll put links to all those in the show notes. So whatever platforms and whatnot, I strongly encourage, if you haven't listened already, is to go and listen to the back catalogue on Bandcamp and support, and also on SoundCloud as well. But no, Russell, mate, thanks for spending the time with me today. It's been great to pick your brains and learn a bit about your journey from where it all began into where you are now, and hear that progression and what the future holds, mate. So progress, like. So the releases are fantastic, so just keep doing what you're doing, mate. Just keep knocking out the tunes and making great music, mate. It's and a big thank you for spending the time with me today.
No, that's cool, man. My pleasure.
Ace, mate. All right, mate. I'll let you go, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cool, man. I'll catch you later.